afternoon and salam perpaduan. Thanks for joining us. I'm SAHIH Samsudin and you're watching Updates at Noon. Our headlines for today. PM heads to Indonesia for official visit. PH Presidential Council agrees to continue PAC post for opposition. Prime Minister Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim's two-day official visit to Indonesia starting today is the focus of analysts who expect it will lead to more concrete cooperation in various fields that will bring benefits to the people of both countries. This is Dato' Sri Anwar's first official overseas visit since he was appointed Prime Minister on 24th November. Political communication analyst Henry Satrio said Indonesia is looking forward to the policy reforms that will be introduced, especially regarding Indonesian workers in Malaysia, land and maritime demarcation, as well as trade and economic cooperation. The inaugural official visit of the 10th Prime Minister will also show his stance on the development of Indonesia's new capital in Kalimantan, as well as Asian regional and international issues. An analyst at the Centre for Political Research of the Indonesian National Research and Innovation Agency said the two countries need to work together to create cross-border value chains for their respective leading industries. For example, Indonesia could support the development of halal food industry in Malaysia, while Malaysia supports Indonesia in the Muslim fashion industry. The national interests of each country can be fulfilled in closer Indonesia-Malaysia relations under the administration of Dato' Sri Anwar and Indonesian President Joko Widodo. The Pakatan Harapan Presidential Council in a meeting agreed to continue the policy of awarding the Public Accounts Committee PAC chairman's post to a representative from the opposition. PH Information Chief Fahmi Fazil said the initiative has been able to bring about positive results as a check and balance body for the government. However, he said there has been no discussions with the opposition about the matter just yet. Fahmi, who is also the Minister of Communications and Digital, said it will be up to the committee to carry out investigations on issues that have been raised before. He added that during the meeting that was chaired by Prime Minister Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim, a proposal to allow the Prime Minister to answer questions verbally during Parliament sessions was also discussed. The suggestion is part of an effort to make improvement and reformations ahead of the Parliament session scheduled for this February.
Sebagai contoh adalah sesi Prime Minister's Question Time. Yang sebelum ni adalah Minister's Question Time ataupun sesi jawab lisan menteri. Tapi akan dikhususkan sesi jawab lisan Perdana Menteri. Yang mana salah satu hari akan dikhususkan satu tempoh masa yang tertentu untuk dibawa soalan-soalan khusus untuk dijawab oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri.
The Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Ministry will introduce Payung Rahmah program as one of the short-term measures in easing the burden of the B40 group who are suffering from the high cost of living. Minister Dato' Sri Salahuddin Ayub said the initiative would involve the cooperation of several other ministries, including the Economy Ministry and the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security.
Berfokus selama 6 bulan iaitu untuk menyentuh golongan yang paling bawah di kalangan B40 yang kita anggap sebagai kemiskinan, golongan yang miskin tegar yang mungkin kalau kita tidak tangani dengan teliti dan berfokus, saya bimbang keadaan ekonomi global yang dijangka begitu serius berlaku tahun ini, golongan inilah yang akan lebih terkesan.
Dato' Sri Salahuddin noted that the details of the program would be announced next Tuesday. The program would include Rahman Kasih Sayang cheap sales, basic item packages as well as Rahmah Kasih Sayang Cafe that would emphasize on the students. He also revealed that the ministry would announce the maximum price control scheme for the Chinese New Year next week. The leaders of four parties, Parti Bersatu Sabah PBS, Parti Solidariti Tanah Airku STAR, Sabah Progressive Party SAPP and United Sabah National Organisation USNO, have stressed that their members still support Datuk Sri Haji Noor as Sabah Chief Minister. Datuk Sri Dr. Maximus Ongkili, Datuk Sri Dr. Jeffrey Kittingan, Datuk Sri Yong Tek Lee and Tan Sri Pandika Amin Mulia said that their parties, which are part of the Gabungan Rakyat Sabah GRS coalition, still maintain a comfortable majority of state assemblymen to maintain power. They agreed that the previous announcement made by Sabah Barisan Nasional in withdrawing support for Datuk Sri Hajiji does not affect his current position as the Chief Minister. This is because the legitimacy of the Chief Minister is determined through the support of the majority of members of the State Legislative Assembly based on the State Constitution. Meanwhile, 7 assemblymen from Sabah Pakatan Harapan also expressed their support for Datuk Sri Hajiji. They include Datuk Christina Liu, Datuk Frankie Poon Ming Fang, Datuk Ewan Benedict, Poon Jing Zi, Jenny Lasimbang, Tan Lee Fat and Peto Galim. They said the focus should be on helping the people, developing the economy and settling the unresolved demands in the Malaysia Agreement 1963. 5 UMNO assemblymen also pledged their undivided support for GRS Chairman Datuk Sri Hajiji. They are Datuk Shahilmi Yahya, Datuk Jasnis Daya, Datuk James Ratib, Datuk Dr. Yusuf Yaakob and Datuk Muhammad Arsad Bistari. The 5 said in a joint statement that this was not the time to grab political power, but a time to be united so that the state government and all parties could continue to focus their time, energy and resources to revive and develop the state's economy. They said in line with the aspirations of the people of Sabah, they want political stability and reject any attempt by any party that wants to cause chaos and unrest among the people. On Friday, Datuk Sri Bong Mokhtar Radin announced that UMNO and Sabah BN were withdrawing support for Datuk Sri Hajiji as they had lost confidence in his position as Chief Minister and that there was a breach of an agreement between BN and Perikatan Nasional. Coming up next, MCMC warns about fake emails offering prizes. The Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, MCMC, has never sent any email or message to the public to claim cash prizes under a bonus scheme offered by a telecommunications company. The Commission, in a statement, reminded the public to always be vigilant and not be easily deceived by emails or messages that could not be verified and avoid giving personal details such as identity card numbers to unknown individuals. It stressed that the public vigilance is important in protecting oneself from becoming a victim of fraud, theft of personal information and other forms of crime. The viral message or email claim, among other things, that as a result of monitoring by the Cyber Intelligence Monitoring Network, the person that received the message still had an unsettled transaction with Maybank, namely as the winner of a cash prize of 270,000 ringgit under TM's family gift bonus. The email also states that the transaction with Maybank is legitimate and the person can claim the cash without fear. The improvement of public health institutions in Sarawak is one of the top priorities of the Technical Committee on the Implementation of Malaysia Agreement 1963 MA63. Deputy Health Minister Lukanisman Awang Sauni said the effort is to ensure better health development for the state in line with the rights under MA63. He said among the things that need to be given immediate attention is the poor state of health facilities in the state.
Kita juga melihat dari sudut keperluan tenaga kerja, terutama sekali doktor-doktor yang kekurangan di hospital dan juga klinik-klinik kesihatan, terutama sekali di luar bandar. Mungkin kita kena lihat dari sudut mengapa kekurangan ini berlaku. Adakah kekosongan tidak ada ataupun kekosongan ada tetapi tidak dapat menarik perhatian houseman untuk datang ke Sarawak.
Apart from that, he said the ministry will also give attention to the aspect of living quarters for health workers. Another pig farm in Valdor, Seberang Perai Selatan near Georgetown was shut down yesterday due to a positive case of African swine fever (ASF). The closure was carried out by the Pulau Pinang Veterinary Services Department, with this being the second ASF case involving 2 pig farms in the state so far. Chief Minister Chow Kon Yeow said the ASF case involves a second pig farm in Seberang Perai Selatan and immediate action has been taken to close the farm in order to cull more than 1,000 livestock there. As the Valdor area has 42 pig farms, he said the disaster will be upgraded from the district to the state level because the district office only has limited resources. Commenting further, Chow said he had also instructed State Secretary Datuk Muhammad Sayuti Bakar to hold a state-level disaster management meeting to discuss the ASF issue. He also expressed hope that all related departments can be mobilized and take immediate action to control the outbreak from spreading to other pig farms in the state. Based on the State Veterinary Services Department's census data, there were 124 pig farms in Pulau Pinang involving a total of 260,348 pigs. The Federal Land Development Authority, FLDA, will provide Monsoon Season 8 BMT amounting to 9.7 million ringgit for 12,138 eligible rubber tappers in its land schemes nationwide. A statement issued by its Strategic Communications Department stated that the aid of 800 ringgit will be dispersed in 3 phases to each rubber tapper. The first phase involves payment of 300 ringgit, which will be disbursed this month. Meanwhile, the second phase, involving a payment of 300 ringgit each, will be disbursed next month, and the third phase payment of 200 ringgit will be made in March. According to the statement, the payments will be deposited directly into the bank accounts of the settlers involved. The FLDA settlers eligible to receive this assistance comprise those who deliver their produce to FLDA's rubber collection centre, those with no produce due to labour issues or their rubber trees were attacked by disease, and those who are currently involved in replanting period with FLDA. In our foreign front, Mexico accident leaves 1 dead, 57 injured.
The number of malicious and false statements spread by SMS or social media platforms have become too widespread. The public is advised to be careful and not fall for such ploys and sharing or forwarding such messages. Remember that spreading fake news is an offence under Section 233 of the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998. This carries the penalty of a fine not exceeding 50,000 ringgit or up to 1 year imprisonment or both upon conviction.
At least 1 person was killed and 57 were injured in a train collision on Mexico City's metro early yesterday. Local authorities say the person killed in the morning accident was a young woman. 4 others who were trapped on one Wagon Online tree were rescued. According to the city's mayor, Claudia Sheinbaum, the person in the most serious condition is the driver of the train.
4 personas quedaron prensadas, fueron rescatadas tiempo después. Las 4 se encuentran hospitalizadas. Hasta ahora la persona que se encuentra más grave es el conductor del tren. Son 57 personas heridas, algunas de ellas con heridas leves, pero de todas maneras llegaron a los hospitales y lamentablemente un fallecimiento.
Police were seen surrounding the accident site and ambulances arrived to take the injured to hospitals. A variety of accidents have taken place on the metro in recent years, with the most serious being the May 2021 collapse of a rail overpass on Line 12 that killed 26 people and injured more than 60. Maintenance shortcomings were identified as one of the accident's causes. A 6-year-old boy shot and wounded a teacher on Friday at Ridge Neck Elementary School in Newport News, Virginia, prompting consternation from local officials who vowed to prevent such an event from happening again. According to Police Chief Steve Drew, the injury to the teacher, a woman in her 30s, was considered life-threatening, though she had shown some improvement in the hospital. There was no further explanation for how a 6-year-old acquired the handgun, and police described it as an altercation in the first grade classroom that resulted in one shot fired. Drew said this was not an accidental shooting, adding that the boy was in custody. No students were injured as they were moved to a gymnasium for their safety and counsellors were made available. Students were reunited with their parents under a school escort. School Superintendent George Parker said all school campuses are equipped for random metal detector searches, but they were not deployed at Ridge Neck Elementary on Friday. Germany, Belgium and Luxembourg have discouraged non-essential trips to China, the world's most populous nation, as it struggles with a surge in COVID cases after relaxing strict virus restrictions. The German Foreign Ministry said it discourages non-essential trips to China due to a peak in COVID infections and an overwhelmed health system. Neighbouring Belgium and Luxembourg were swift to follow suit. Luxembourg is aligning itself with the German travel advisory and is currently advising against non-essential travel to China. Meanwhile, Belgium's Foreign Ministry said that since November, China has been experiencing its biggest wave of infections due to the end of the zero COVID policy. It said in view of the risk of hospital overcrowding and, consequently, the risk of not being able to be treated quickly in the event of an emergency, non-essential travel is not recommended for the time being. More than a dozen countries have imposed new travel regulations on travellers from China. Several EU nations, including Germany, France, Italy and Spain, already announced COVID test requirements on travellers coming from the Asian nation. The United States and Japan are among the non-European countries to have brought in similar measures. The United States government expelled dozens of Venezuelan immigrants on Friday following the new border control measures introduced by President Joe Biden's administration. According to the Mexican authorities, about 100 Venezuelans who had crossed by land into the United States were expelled to Mexico's Ciudad Juarez. The US said it would expand restrictions to rapidly expel Cuban, Nicaraguan and Haitian immigrants caught illegally crossing the border. Venezuelans by the millions have left the South American country in recent years, fleeing corruption, economic hardship and political upheaval. Those tracking overland toward the United States have an arduous route through Central America and then into Mexico. Numerous advocacy groups have expressed disappointment by the changes under the new policy that they say differentiate unfairly based on a nationality and expand the use of a U.S. expulsion order that limits asylum access. According to U.S. government data, more than 150,000 Venezuelans have been caught crossing the U.S.-Mexico border in 2022, a sharp rise that has strained American resources at the border and in receiving cities. Harimau Malaya narrowly wins against Thailand at Stadium Bukit Jalil last night. That and more next in sports. Sensational winger Muhammad Faisal Abdul Halim emerged the hero when he delivered the winning goal for Harimau Malaya in the 11th minute. The result allowed the national squad a slight advantage as they head to Bangkok for the second leg of the 2022 AFF Cup semi-final on Tuesday. The march started off well in front of some 50,000 supporters of Harimau Malaya. Thailand, who until last night were undefeated in the campaign, dominated most of the match and nearly shocked Malaysia in the 4th minute when a wild header from Pansa Hembun in front of the goal missed. Nonetheless, the national squad's defence held up in fending off multiple attempts from the War Elephant squad. Harimau Malaya supporters once again erupted in the 55th minute when a header by Darren Lock went into the net, but referee Kim Deng Yang ruled it out as he believed there was rough play involved. Head coach Kim Pangon stressed that the slim 1-0 victory in the first leg was clearly not enough to cement a place in the final. However, he believes his players can keep their cool and go out fighting in a bid to avoid a semi-final exit away from home. France head coach Didier Deschamps has extended his contract until July 2026 based on a statement by the French Football Federation yesterday. The statement read, "The French Football Federation and Noël Le Graët, its president, are pleased to announce the extension of Didier Deschamps' contract as head of the French national team." Deschamps' previous contract had expired after the 2022 World Cup, where France lost to Argentina in the final on penalties in Qatar. The 54-year-old's future with the national team was under scrutiny following the conclusion of the World Cup in Qatar. However, under Deschamps, France won the 2018 World Cup in Russia and the 2021 National League. They also reached the final of the 2016 European Championship. Deschamps has won 89, drawn 28 and lost 22 of his 139 matches in charge. France are currently third in the FIFA World Rankings, behind number 1 Brazil and second place Argentina. The FFF said Deschamps' assistant coach Guy Steven, goalkeeping coach Franz Raviot and physical trainer Cyril Moyen will also continue their work with the national team. On to tennis, Novak Djokovic overcame an injury scare midway through his match against Daniil Medvedev yesterday to mow down the Russian 6-3, 6-4 and storm into the Adelaide International 1 final, where he will take on unseeded American Sebastian Korda. In a blockbuster Australian Open warm-up meeting between the two former world number ones, it was 21 times Grand Slam champion Djokovic who shot out of the blocks quickest as he surged to a 4-2 lead in the opening set. Djokovic was in some discomfort in the 7th game after hyperextending his left hamstring while stretching to make a forehand, but he soldiered on and pulled off an exquisite lob before taking a medical timeout for treatment. The 35-year-old Serb claimed the opening set and raised his game at 3-3 in the next by producing a blistering return and a smooth pass at the net before Medvedev surrendered his serve with a double fault on breakpoint. Djokovic saved a breakpoint with a second serve before holding firm from there to seal a comfortable victory. Toyota's defending champion Nasir Al-Attiyah retained a comfortable lead of more than an hour after the Dakar Rally's 7th stage in Saudi Arabia yesterday on another tough day for rivals Audi. The Germans marked hope of a first Dakar win for an electrically powered car evaporated for another year on Friday when leading challengers Stephanie Patterson and Carlos Sainz both crashed in the desert dunes. Sainz started yesterday but in 68th place and with a penalty of 28 hours and 45 minutes for failing to complete the 6th stage, Will Pater-Hansel withdrew after co-driver Edward Bollinger ended up in hospital. Audi suffered a further setback when remaining contender Matthias Ekstrom, winner of last weekend's prologue, stopped with mechanical problems and Sainz halted alongside to provide assistance. The 7th stage from Riyadh to Al Duwad-Dimi, featuring a 333km special stage and 861km in all, was won by Saudi Arabia's Yazid Al-Raji for Overdrive Racing, his 3rd career stage win and first of 2023. Al-Attiyah now leads South African team mate Hang Lettigen by an hour 1 minute and 4 seconds, a loss of just 5 minutes overall.
Kecemasan, boleh saya bantu?
Hello, there's been a motorcycle accident here. Maybe an elephant ran it over. Sir, there is fire accident at the address number 5 Jalan Tembikar, Shah Alam.
PGO from FRT Shah Alam, there was no fire accident here. Over.
MERS 999. Use it wisely.
Jemaah Menteri memutuskan masalah kesihatan rakyat itu adalah hal yang utama. Soal pelancongan atau pertumbuhan ekonomi itu tidak boleh mengatasi kepentingan mengawal dan merawat rakyat, termasuk COVID-19. Soalnya, apakah langkah-langkah diambil sekarang? Maka kita harus pantau, termasukkan rakyat asing itu akan dikawal dengan lebih ketat lagi seperti mana menurut keperluan dan kepentingan kita.
The number of malicious and false statements spread by SMS or social media platforms have become too widespread. The public is advised to be careful and not fall for such ploys and sharing or forwarding such messages. Remember that spreading fake news is an offence under Section 233 of the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998. This carries the penalty of a fine not exceeding 50,000 ringgit or up to 1 year imprisonment or both upon conviction.
That concludes today's edition of Updates at Noon. In our top story, PM heads to Indonesia for official visit. Do tune in to News at 10 coming up later tonight on saluran Berita RTM. Till then, I'm SAHIH. Thank you for watching.